At the bottom of the hour, we continue on Get Up. Let's do upset alert. We haven't talked much about the win.
A little bit, yeah. Look, I think the Lions will win. I think they could hang 50 on this Washington defense. But, man, do not let this game be close in the fourth quarter if you're Detroit. Jayden Daniels in the fourth quarter is a killer. I believe that Washington can score points and make things tough on Detroit's banged-up defense. If the Lions are rusty and they let this be a close game late, I could see it getting a little scary.
RC, what was it you said about Jayden Daniels if he wins this game?
Oh, he's immortal. It's the greatest rookie season of all time. And the other piece of it is this, though. There will never be one that equals it, right? When you think about just the individual play, obviously he's come in and changed an organization. But I said this about the three of the teams left in the NFC playoffs. The Eagles, the Detroit Lions, and the Commanders, they all make you defend 10 yards for 4 plays.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions, because of their physicality, creates one reason and one reason only the Commanders continue to go, because of their quarterback, because of his poise, because of his composure. And if he finds a way to beat the Detroit Lions in a game, if I'm being honest, that should not be close.
Right.
He is 100% the greatest rookie to ever play in this league.
And I think we're looking at a new style of football, guys. I think the way one in the NFL all season long, Commanders on fourth down. But how about this? They average 7.2 yards points after a fourth down conversion. Wow. So I'm sure it's 4-down football. Let's see what happens.
And they have nothing to lose if you're Washington, right? You're supposed to lose and you're ahead of schedule. You know, the tightness comes on the Lions, and will Dan Campbell be overly aggressive like he was against San Francisco, and maybe you stop them on fourth down and you steal possessions that way? Because we know that they're going to go about it, and you got to try and keep this Lions offense off the field because you don't want that defense to getting beat down and don't have anything in the fourth quarter.
Here's what I can't decide the answer to, sorry, Dan, is that last game, the Lions' defense against the Vikings, because their defense has just been so banged up, and I know they got back Anzalone for that game, but was that a great night, or was that they figured something out and this defense is going to be a lot better? That's for everybody.
They figured out a way to pressure Sam Darnold that affected Sam Darnold, right? Like Jayden Daniels is a little bit tougher guy to pressure, right? Like he can get away a little bit easier than Sam Darnold.
But is this Lions defense going to look better than we have seen them look?
This defense has gotten healthy. Now, Alex Anzalone is an underrated player at the linebacker position, especially what he does for that team. But I also believe their success was so game plan specific because we actually saw the Los Angeles Rams just duplicate it. And so this game is so much different because the quarterback is different, the way he can utilize his legs. Also, the explosiveness of Terry McLaurin and what Austin Eckler and Zach Ertz do in between the numbers allows Jayden Daniels to be Jayden Daniels in the pass game.
And what a great dress rehearsal against an aggressive Todd Bowles.
Yes.
So if you come Aaron Glenn, he's going to have answers to the test because he just had those, hot routes.
Real quick.
At the end of the day, they've won 14 out of 15. They're home and they're rested.
Yeah. Oh, no. Everyone here is picking the Lions.
They'll win.
Everyone here is picking the Lions, and everyone here is picking the Chiefs as well. As I ask you, are the Chiefs on any level of upset alert against Houston?
I'm not picking against Patrick Mahomes. I'm not picking against Andy Reid.
Who would do that?
I'm not picking against Andy Reid coming off of a bye, right? And then you talk about I don't know if the Texans have enough on the offensive side to be able to make enough big plays to hold off Patrick Mahomes. Because if Patrick Mahomes get in the fourth quarter, they need 2 touchdowns, he'll do it. And this is the biggest part about Patrick Mahomes' game. Yes, he may not have the best statistics. In the playoffs, he starts running, man, and that dad bod can run some guys over, too.
Greedy, this is a closer game than we think because of the matchup of the front seven of Houston against the one vulnerability we've talked about all year long. This is an average Kansas City offense.
The other piece is this, though. Schedule 18 games for the Kansas City Chiefs. Every season, when it starts, say we're going to see the Kansas City Chiefs 18 times. And guess what? In that 18th game, they get a 19th because Patrick Mahomes is 6-0 in the divisional round of the playoffs. That's just how good they are. That's just how routine this part of the year is for them. And if you're the Houston Texans and you're thinking to yourself right now, we're playing against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. We got to go out and score. We got to go out and be different. We got to go out and be extra. If you do that, you've lost already.
And this is where those tight games come into effect in the playoffs when you say the experience, the collective experience that this group has.
I remember Trey Wingo used to say conference championship weekend, or as the Patriots call it, week 20.
Right.
Like that's what the Chiefs are in right now.
Yeah, right.
But look, you talk about the banged up or the suspect Chiefs offensive line. Houston's had major issues on the line all year. And if they don't have Joe Mixon for this game, their star running back who hurt his ankle in practice on Wednesday and didn't practice yesterday, listed as questionable, it's going to be pretty tough for them to generate offense with just Nico Collins as the main weapon.
Huge news. And just when you consider, with no disrespect to the Texans, what the Chiefs are doing this weekend and what the Bills and Ravens are doing, it just goes to show you never dropping a bad game in the regular season. Look at the difference it makes. Kansas City just doesn't lose an inexplicable game, and that's why they're the 1 seed in the PNBet Sportsbook as we continue racing through a fabulous 4 games this weekend. And I'm told we have Ryan Clark's Game Breakers ready to go. Okay, RC, let's talk about 4 players who could decide this weekend's games. And let's start with the Sunday night matchup, Ravens and Bills.
Yeah, with the Sunday night matchup, I know it's not sexy, but Mark Andrews, think about the way that they're going to utilize big people on the field. There's going to be a ton of time where there's going to be Lamar Jackson and then 10 other people that are 250-plus pounds. And so that's going to put a linebacker on Mark Andrews, and we know how big he's been in the red zone, the way he's leading this team in touchdown catches, and he's Lamar Jackson's not security blanket, but go-to guy. So I'm expecting Mark Andrews to have a huge day. It's going to be cold. You're going to want to throw in between the numbers. You're going to want to keep big people on the field.
Let's go to the early game tomorrow. You will be there for Kansas City and Houston. Who's the game breaker?
When you think about Kansas City and Houston, we have to get Nico Collins involved. The last time they played, Trent McDuffie traveled with him, so he wasn't able to get loose. McDuffie held him to like 3 catches and only 5 yards. He has to get going the same way he got going against the Los Angeles Chargers last week. That infused this offense with some energy, and then later on, Joe Mixon was able to take over.
Commanders and Lions is the Saturday night special.
It's going to be all about Jahmyr Gibbs to me. They have to stop the run. You got to find a way to try to make the Detroit Lions one-dimensional. Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, Deron Payne up front. You have to be stout in the run game because the play action from Ben Johnson and Jared Goff will kill you if you allow Jahmyr Gibbs to get going. And it's the speed, Greedy, taking a 5-yard run and making it 20 in 6 points.
He's Sonic, and he's getting knuckles back too, right?
Yeah, so which is the worst case scenario for the Washington Commanders this week.
And finally, Rams and Eagles. Who's the player to watch?
I mean, when you think about the Rams, it's going to be how can they utilize Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams is a guy who I believe is underrated in this league, a big-time rusher from the backfield, but they also use him in the pass game. It's going to be about ball control in this game. You know that Saquon Barkley will be huge on the other side of the ball for the Philadelphia Eagles, but I believe Kyren Williams is just as important.
Well, those are the 2 backs in this game, obviously. Williams on one side, and let's talk about Saquon because he went crazy the last time these teams played each other, had over 300 yards from scrimmage. But if history is any guide, Sean McVay is going to give him a tough time. Take a look at the numbers. Saquon is going up against the Sean McVay team that in the 12 career playoff games that McVay has coached, he has never allowed, a 100-yard rusher. There it is. 12 playoff games. No one has ever run for 100 yards against the Sean McVay team. And as Dan Orlovsky told us yesterday, that magic number will decide the game.
If Saquon doesn't go over 100, the Rams win this game. It'll be very clear. Jalen Hurts has got 6 playoff games, right?
Yeah.
In those 3 wins, he's thrown for 154 yards, 131 yards, and 121 yards. In the 3 losses, he's thrown for 304 yards, 250 yards, and something like 230 yards. So it's very clear.
The formula.
When they win, it is not on the arm of Jalen Hurts.
Okay, so, I mean, it's easier said than done if they stop Saquon Barkley. Well, no one has stopped Saquon Barkley, but let me ask my linebacker friend here.
Yeah, man.
If that's what...
man.
If the Rams decide we're putting, as you said in our meeting this morning, 11 guys in the box, is Jalen Hurts ready to go out and beat him?
I think it makes the game a game. I think because Jalen Hurts, he's risk averse. Like, he doesn't want to put the ball in harm's way. He's... You know, we talked about him not pushing the ball downfield, not giving his all-star wide receivers opportunities at the ball. You watch every other quarterback that has guys that we consider that dude, and A.J. Brown is that dude. And they give those guys chances to win. And if he isn't willing to put the ball in harm's way, then I don't know if they can win a Super Bowl. This game, we'll see if Saquon Barkley can go crazy. When somebody runs for 255 yards, I don't know if you got a game plan that you can stop or the personnel.
We got to stop using risk averse like it's leprosy.
It's not.
Right? Like, you know who was risk averse? Me. I didn't have a financial advisor until my 4th year in the league because I was undrafted. I was basically putting my money underneath my mattress. And when I got one, I said, hey, man, don't you do nothing dangerous.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care how much money I make, but I sure don't want to lose none. And you're seeing that Jalen Hurts was playing that way because you had Saquon Barkley, because you could still win games playing that way. But when I hear Dan read some of those playoff stats, you know what it says to me? That means Jalen Hurts is capable. Right. He's capable of producing. And in order to stop Saquon Barkley, what is Chris Shula, the defense coordinator, going to have to do? He's going to have to sell out. So that means you're going to tell me you're going to have Kobe Durant outside one-on-one against Devontae, right? Or you're going to have him one-on-one against A.J. Brown. You don't want that. Because now those 50-50 balls become 75-25 balls, 90-10 balls. And Jalen Hurts can absolutely win a football game if he has to, based on what it's going to take to stop Saquon Barkley.
I think physics takes over, guys. Saquon Barkley led the NFL 2.64 yards before contact, Green. The best in the NFL. If these two teams played 10 times, Saquon rushes for 100 yards 9 out of those 10 times. It's just one of these matchups that a team's strength is the other team's weakness.
And honestly, that one time, he must go pull a hamstring.
They can't stop him. You're saying they can't stop him.
No, you can't stop him.
You can't stop.
You can stop anybody.
If he rushes for 100 yards, that's a win for the Rams.
Right.
He had 255. Right. And I'm pretty sure 140 of them came on 2 carries, right? Yeah. So that's the trick. Is finding a way to limit the explosive game-wrecking run that he has, especially in the second half when they're trying to put games away.
A pretty decent game. Other quarterbacks, they have a hard time getting past it and often put the ball up for grabs the rest of the ball game.
And a productive gain out to the 14 after starting at the 7. It's a gain of 7. 7 yards the pick up there. 3 yards remain for second down. Fitzpatrick now. Slings this deep from McLaurin. It got his man complete. And all the way down to the 24-yard line. Quite a show of arm strength right there. That was in the air for a long time, and it was on target, too.
And from where we sit, if you had told me that ball was somehow going to get from point A to point B, I would have told you no way. I mean, that was an absolute cannon shot. And he still dropped it right on the money, too.
And that ball traveling 68 yards in the air, according to Next Capital and FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. They love their football in this part of the country, and this crowd is ready to go as their guys will match up with the Buffalo Bills. Two teams more than ready to get this one started. And we are underway from FedEx Field. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. And they'll try again 2nd and 10. They'll fake the handoff. Now Smith. And he's taken down. This will be a Brown sack.
Okay, you know my bias is about to come out here. A lot of people would think that the offense is just moving in the wrong direction. I'd say they're moving in the right direction because the defense is pushing them back.
Former defensive guy. Now, as a quarterback 3rd and long, you really got to rally the troops here, don't you?
Yeah, you do in a big way. And what else do you have to look out for? More pressure coming at you because it seems to be working pretty well.
3rd and long, it's Smith escaping the pressure right. Slings this deep. This is caught inside the 15. And he takes it in. Touchdown, Washington. Bringing it out of his end zone, Isaiah. And all deep in his own territory. He coughs up the football.
That's what it is, baby. That's
and he will score. Touchdown, Washington. John Bates. Excellent work there to get in on the touchdown run. And Washington has tied the ball game with the extra point still to come. Now it's Hopkins to add the extra point. And with that, his guys take the lead here by a point.